Hello world, Dano here, stacking paper as always. And today we are reviewing One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey. And famously made into a movie starring Jack Nicholson, which I haven't watched, which I'll definitely watch now. I'm going to keep this review spoiler free because admittedly there's not a lot that happens in this book in terms of plot. Like, there's just not much of a plot. Um, Essentially, it's about this guy who goes into, a loony bin and just tries to uplift the spirits of all the other residents there who are convinced either by themselves or more commonly by the antagonist of the book, Mrs. Ratched, that they need to be there, that they're plagues on society, and that they can't do any better than their current situation. And McMurphy, who is I guess he's the protagonist. It's weird because the book is told from the perspective of a character named Chief Bromden, who, as far as the other, I don't want to call them inmates, but residents, as far as they're concerned, he's deaf and dumb. Like, he doesn't speak, and he's just dumb as a doorknob because he's undergone shock treatment. That's a big looming threat in the book. If there's a minor spoiler there, it's not a big one. It's just they definitely mention it because this was a thing in the late kind of 40s, early 50s. I don't know when shock treatment got banned, but yeah, this was the thing they used to do to people, and it would literally fry their fucking brains. It was terrible. But anyway, so according to them, Chief Bromden is just like a functional vegetable. But that's not the case. He thinks really deeply, and he's constantly observing people, and he's observing all the residents, and most importantly, he's observing McMurphy, who is kind of this force of change, this chaotic good, who comes into this institution and just tries to uplift everybody to the general chagrin of Miss Ratched, who tries to put him down. And a big part of the book is the interplay between Nurse Ratched and McMurphy, and who's gonna win this mental bout or another. And I'll say when this book is good, it's really good. Overall, it's very well written, and I think that's kind of what kept me going through it. Like, there's a lot of really great prose, good use of metaphor, good themes, although I'll say by the end of the book, I wasn't really sure what I was supposed to take away from it, but I think that's kind of the point. It's a very kind of complex human experience and human experiment, I guess you could say. Where the book, I think, falls a bit flat for me is setting fatigue. The entire story just takes place inside this asylum, and it can get really boring, unfortunately. This is the same issue I had with Andromeda Strain by Michael Crichton, which is a really good premise, but like 80 to 90% of the book takes place inside a concrete bunker, and it's like, if the dialogue just isn't popping off, it just gets really bland. I'd say this is better than the Andromeda Strain, though. I prefer this book because, again, when the dialogue is good, it's really good, and there's some genuinely really funny moments in this book for a book that's actually quite dark and quite dour and depressing. There's some really fucking funny moments. Which is why I'm interested to watch the film now, because I'm sure Jack Nicholson does a really good job of the McMurphy character. Although, from what I've heard, the movie is missing the perspective of Chief Bromden. So, I guess we'll see how I feel about it, because I think that actually is another highlight of the book, is Bromden's kind of cerebral, trippy adventures. Like, he kind of has these waking nightmares where I guess the whole idea is he's seeing the world for what it really is. He sees like a lot of the aides who work with Miss Ratched as just like these evil gremlins, and like he sees these lines of light going up the walls, that he can kind of visualize, I guess, how people are feeling and how they react to things. And he sees that as like, you know, different manifestations. And it's really trippy. I definitely understand Ken Kesey's like mental state, because he's got a really interesting life, and it super ties into how this book is, because he was an acid tripper, right? Also, he was institutionalized. He was low-key hoodwinked into what's it called, MK Ultra, unknowingly. So yeah, he literally had tests on him that he didn't realize, and that definitely made its way into this book. That was a big reason why this book even got made. So I think like with the historical context, the book is really cool. It's more just there's some pacing issues and I guess setting fatigue and like a general lack of plot. Like, you know, there is a plot, but it's much more of a character study. So if you really like character-driven novels, you'd like this one. I think my problem is I kind of just went in with like a pretty high expectation of this book, I think. And not saying it was bad. I just don't think it was as good as I pictured it was going to be, which is like, you know, that's kind of my fault. It's not the author. It's a well-written book. It's definitely worth the read. It's just it was a struggle at times, both like as a work of literature and just as a kind of boredom. Because there are some passages that are definitely difficult to read, but it's still really good. Like I would recommend the book, I think, to like specific people. I wouldn't give it a general recommendation. Like, you know, my mother doesn't read much, but like she would not like this book one bit, you know? So, I think I'm going to give it like a soft 7, you know, maybe like 6.5 to 7. Definitely worth your time, but, not in my upper echelon of books. Even like this year, I read so many good books this year that I think I might just be comparing. But definitely worth it. Definitely worth your time. We're moving on to the next book in the book club, which is finally my pick, and I'm super amped about it. The Forever War by Joe Haldeman. So expect that review very soon, because we're going to do that book in a week. So by this Friday, I'll be done. So yeah, until next time, take it easy.